Somebody needed a reminder today, and the Lord reminded me of a word I never released. And sometimes I'll get words I don't get to release, and I won't really know why. But last night I was trying to clean my phone out, to be honest. I was trying to make some space, and the Lord stopped me on one, and I listened to it. And I felt it, and so I'm going to show you something, and I argued with the Lord about it, and I've had it for about a year. Didn't really look like something that someone like me would have. And I remember telling God, why? And he was like, just get it. And he reminded me of the verse, and I will give you authority to trample on serpents, like to walk over them. And I'm like, okay. So I'm officiating a wedding of my friend last year, and I was getting ready to go see Lindaria, and I was wrapping up all of this, and it starts out, there's only 4 words in this whole book. I've had it for a year. But it's all about things to do with the enemy. And it started last year in October, and it said, if you don't look with my eyes, you'll miss it. But this is the word that I'm supposed to read to you today, and I've got a lot of verse for you next, so please don't leave because the verse is very important. I don't want you to just take the word and run. So defense does not always arrive with bows, ribbons, or pretty wrappings. Consider the farm snakes. A farmer will honor the black snake and rat snake by staying out of its way. The snake was designed by God to keep up with mice who eat your grain and snakes who kill your livestock and live in your timber. When you draw out snakes, get the axe, but don't get distracted. Know what is here to harm and help, and know that I am he who is able to swallow giants for dinner and send snakes to fight your battles. It ended with a couple of verses, and I will cause your enemies to bless you. Deuteronomy 28, 7 through 9. The Lord will cause your enemies who rise against you to be defeated before your face. They shall come out against you one way and flee from you, how many? 7 ways. And this is one of, you want a lemon pepper stepper? If you're a church kid, you know what that means. The elders that got a praise in them, and they're just dancing everywhere. This is one of those verses, and you can blanket it over anything that's troubling you. The Lord will perfect that which concerneth me. This is Psalms 138:8. Then God just ended it with this. It's a word, not a verse. Don't fight battles that don't matter. Stay in peace. How do we stay in peace? Praise is a weapon. I need you to always remember that. Praise was a weapon when Paul and Silas were in prison. And the key to that, when Paul and Silas were in prison, wasn't only that they were worshiping, but everyone else stopped to listen, the Bible says. And when they stopped to listen, they got their eyes off their problem, and everyone was looking at God, and the doors opened. And there come a mighty shaking. Praise is a weapon. It honors God. It helps you focus on God. Praise helps you to know God's character. It breaks the enemy's oppression, and it confuses the enemy, because he expects you to be on the ground and not keep it on going. But you're a child of God, and you're going to keep on going. I know that you will. I know that. And I want to read you this, Matthew 16, 17 through 19. I know I've been throwing it at you a lot, but God's been throwing it at me a lot, and it goes back to everything. So I'm at a store today, and they'd lost keys to something they needed, and it was store keys, but they keep things in little drawers. And I didn't know why they were telling me they lost keys, but God's been talking to me about this verse daily. And it says this, and Jesus answered him, Blessed are you, Simon Bar-Jonah, for flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my Father who is in heaven. And I tell you, you are Peter. He's changing his name. And on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven, and whatever you bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven. And when they were reading, or not when they were talking about these keys, I thought about reading this over and over. The Lord's changing a lot of names. Peter translates rock. He's telling them, you're the rock, and when I'm gone, you're going to finish this thing out. One of my favorite things about Peter is not only does he honor God in everything he does, but when they martyr Peter, Peter refuses to be crucified in an upright position. He wants to be upside down so that he is not in an honorable space like Jesus was. You think about that one. what kind of reverence that was. Luke 10:19 says, "Behold, I give you the authority to trample on serpents and scorpions and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall by any means hurt you." And when I got home today and to pull it all together, God said the devil is busy. When you enter the ring with God, the only victory you get is the entrance. Think about the WWE. You know, it's all acting, but they come out and some of them are villainous. And it looks like they're going to win. But the only victory is to come out. Because your enemies will exit embarrassed, engrossed, and defeated with black eyes and a bruised ego. And God made sure to throw in, it cannot touch you or your family. So whatever this is about, I do know that the Lord wanted to be sure that you knew that it couldn't touch you or your family. What does engrossed mean? I know what it means, but I want to see what it is in Oxford. And it says this: having all one's attention or interest absorbed by someone or something. So the enemy is going to be completely absorbed in the embarrassment and defeat. God's saying it is like ultimate defeat. And there is a verse, and I believe I read it to you. It'll come at you one way, it'll flee from you seven. I want you to remember that. And I don't know who you are today that needs to remember the character of God. And remember that it can't come near you, it can't touch you. Even though you see it, don't mean that it is prospering. Just because you see it don't mean nothing. Because we know that what we don't see is eternal, and what we see is temporary. Circumstances change every day, every minute, every second, every hour. And you never know when it's your turn. So you hang in there, okay? You keep going. I believe in you guys. I love you guys. I'm proud of you guys. I pray for you guys. I'm not the only one. You may feel like nobody prays for you, but I bet you're wrong. I bet you were wrong. Well, guys, I love you. I'll talk to you again soon. I hope you have the best day, best week. And I pray that the Lord blesses you and that you prosper even as your soul prospers.